Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. Luna and I are having a pretty good morning, except I started the video. She knocked the tripod pod over a little bit with her big tail, and so I readjusted it and tried to restart the video. I missed the button. Sat here and talked for 2 minutes. Did nothing. I didn't even look to see if the little icon was to record. So I better drink some more coffee. Jeez. I hope you have a better start to your day. Maybe this fog is fogging my brain. I don't know. There's a lot of fog for this part of the country. But anyway, we did have a good walk. It was foggy out, but Luna and I enjoyed our time together. Okay, 3 sips of coffee and get it started. Uh, yeah, so yesterday I talked about air getting sucked out of the room, and one of the things that's happening right now that's not getting as much attention as it probably should is artificial intelligence chat interface. It's called GPT, and it's the way it works is instead of search, which usually you put search words in, and then those search words would lead you to websites and information to help you with what you're looking for. This is a little bit different. This one you would write out what you want, and then you get a response. And then if that's not good enough, you can talk to it a little bit more, and it'll communicate with you. And it doesn't have current information, so it doesn't have. I asked what movies was it interested in seeing next year, and it says, I can't search the internet, and I don't have that information, so it couldn't help me out. So if I read the instructions correctly, I would have seen that because they limit that stuff, and they say it in the intro, but I was too there was too much information, and I missed that part. But I did ask it. He said, "Hi, so my wife's having some issues with a little weakness in her leg, causing her to have a little trouble walking around. The doctors haven't found a solution, but I want to know what I can do to help her with that." Its response was wonderful. It first started by a paragraph of encouragement. Please, I'm summarizing, but please keep in touch with your medical professionals because new treatments and cures are becoming available often, and staying in touch with them and you're keeping your care active will hopefully resolve the issue uh, in some point in the future. A little paragraph of encouragement. It then said, what you can do is you can install handlebars and other things that she can grab to stabilize herself, such as in the areas where uh, things can be difficult, such as bathrooms or areas that are slippery. You might also make sure that there are no trip hazards in your house. And for where there's stairs or other areas where she has to go up, there's plenty of holds and ways to make it her able to use those handles to uh, walk more clearly. It was much more eloquent than my summer. But I was like, wow, that's wow. So it didn't send me to a you know, website or anything like that. It actually talked to me like a professional. Huh. So then This is the part that most of my programming friends are like, oh, I said to it, hey, I'm a C# developer, and I have some XML that I want to translate using an XML translation file. Can you write a function that will do that for me? It wrote me code using, yes, a C# set of code. After it was done, I said, can you write a unit test for me for that code? And it wrote unit test code for me. And it was very well done. It's very good code. It did a good job. I'm amazed. The best part about it is you can actually, if you don't like what you see, you can ask it to do things a little differently. One of the guys that I saw a video on, he didn't like how it didn't do a check that the data coming in was invalid, doing a data validity check before executing on the code. So he told it, could you ensure that the code is valid before executing it? It updated the code to add that validity check, and it was a good job. Here's the thing. That's right now, that's the problem with it, right? It's it assumed valid code. So it's like it knows how to answer something and it's very confident in its answers. It doesn't come back and say, should I assume that the code may be invalid or the data may be invalid or something like that? It doesn't do any of that. It just does what you ask. But it does it well. It does it fast. I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. And then many times, stuff like this can be very helpful to programmers like me. I'll give you an example. I work in certain languages. I work a lot in those languages. And I get really working with them because I have a project or something I'm creating for the people I work with. And it's, you can get a little rusty on other languages or other things that you haven't done in a long time, like so quite some time. You know what you want, you know how you want, know what you want to achieve, but you have to blow it off the old circuits and remember how to do stuff. I'll give you an example. It's been, let's see, 8 years since I wrote TypeScript. 8 years since I wrote TypeScript. However, I'm actually thinking about writing something, and I was thinking about doing it in TypeScript. If I got in there and I started talking to it and said, hey, I want to do this with some TypeScript. I have values and I want to create a table for that list of values. How would I use TypeScript to create a dynamically sized table for my web interface? That would be very useful to me because I have to Google it and I could sit there and say, well, no, I want to do this and this. It could help me get started. Give me the template. And that can help me get going a lot faster. Go. I'm going to throw it. We're ready. And wow. Wow. But I know a lot of my programming friends are going to hate this. They're like, I'll probably be replaced by a robot. And you know what? I don't think you are. But I think your robot could be like a buddy to help you, augment you. That's the thing that happens with automation. It, things help. So instead of needing 50 programmers, we might need 20 because they're much more efficient. That's annoying because those 50 programmers don't have jobs. I'm sorry, 30 programmers don't have jobs. So we have to create jobs for them because there's a need. There's actually a need out there for a lot of programming jobs. We've had some very rough times in the last 10 years. Places like Google and Facebook have really sucked away a lot of the programmers out there. So places like natural gas companies haven't worked on their technologies. They haven't included new things that would be better. I worked at a place, and this was about 10 years ago, and the guy that was running the company, he said to the gas people, he's like, so what do you do when you get the trucks come in to drop the fuel off? And he says, well, we had a paper out there and and a pen, and they drop the fuel and then they write it down, their name and how much fuel they dropped off. And he's like, what? Why don't? What? And then we have somebody go by, get the piece of paper and bring it home, and his wife types it in to an interface for us. Why are you doing it that way? You could automate a lot of that stuff. You could actually have a reader on the fuel intake. It would just, and they said, we don't have people, we don't have the time, we don't have the talent to add that stuff. And it works. So it's inefficient, inaccurate, but what can you do if you don't have people? You might have people here pretty soon. We'll see. It is a fascinating bunch of changes in this world out here. And Luna and I are just happy we have balls to throw. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. And I hope an AI out there says something nice to you this morning. Talk to you later.